Welcome to It's Possible Podcast. We help high-income earners to manage and save their money for their retirement. So we bring great people on the podcast so that they can tell you what they do with money and tell you how they support the community. Today I have with me Coach Bree.
Yes.
So please take a minute, introduce yourself, and tell the people what you have for them today, please.
Hello, I am Coach Bree. I am a health and fitness professional. I help business owners, high-level corporate leaders, entrepreneurs figure out how to prioritize themselves through health and fitness. I do that mainly through strength training, online and in person. We focus a lot on mobility, nutrition, and figure out how you can balance health and fitness without having to sacrifice any business revenue or any lifestyle changes that you want to maintain. So that's pretty much the gist of Breezy. And my business is Breezy Fitco.
Breezy. All right, that's excellent. So you help people stay in shape.
Yes.
And that's a way for them also to save money, right?
Yeah.
How does that help people save money when they are in shape?
It helps you, number one, it helps you actually generate more money because you're more productive. You have a higher level of creativity when you're able to actually move your body and push your body to limits that you didn't even know that you could do. It also helps in the long term. So it helps avoid health complications later down the line. Some people can have cardiovascular issues, heart issues down the line. But if you exercise a little bit at a time each day, that helps prevent any of those long-term diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, any of those medications that you'll end up having to be on because you didn't take care of your health in the beginning.
And I believe people feel more confident too.
Of course, yeah. It definitely builds self-esteem for sure.
Yeah. And confident people make more money, do they?
Of course. When you're more confident and you feel better in your body, you feel more empowered when you walk into certain rooms. So you're able to command a certain level of respect when you walk into rooms. You don't feel like you have to hide in the corner. You demand a different level of respect. When you work out, when you're confident, when you push yourself, you know that if you can push yourself doing these things and stay disciplined with these things, it puts you on another level, mentally, emotionally, physically.
Okay. So let's back up a little bit because I know some people they're watching now, they want to know, let's hit the money part of it first and then we'll move on to the business part. I know you're a high income earner. How do you manage your finances so that you don't spend all your money?
Yeah, it's definitely been a long time coming. It is not an easy process to understand, especially when you're not used to having money. It can be hard to understand how you should allocate it and what should you save and what should you spend on bills and should you treat yourself and things like that. It can be hard to understand that balance. But Acorns is one really good one. They kind of just automatically take money out of there, so it's investing in different accounts for you. Okay. That is a simple, easy way to manage money. Otherwise, I follow the percentages. So 10% goes to savings, you have 20% goes to bills, you have different percentages that get allocated to specific things depending on what your lifestyle is.
Oh, you have a budget.
I try to maintain a budget. I try my best to maintain a budget.
That's good. So tell me the greatest mistake you've made with money so far. And if you knew better, you wouldn't make that mistake.
I would say the greatest mistake that I've made is spending money that I don't have.
Let me not say greatest mistake. Does it sound right? Or the biggest mistake?
The biggest mistake. Yeah, I would say that because you can think that X amount of money is coming in. So you plan ahead and you know what you want to do with it. So you kind of already spin it in your head rather than being smart about it or, not really or allocating it appropriately when it finally gets there. But I had a bad habit of like, if I have this amount in my account now and I know that this is coming and somehow a client payment doesn't come through or, something happens out of my control and I've already spent what I have. So now I have to backtrack and that puts me way behind. So
I know.
I would say that was something that took me a while to learn and understand because it felt like this was supposed to be automatic. Like this was supposed to be coming, but I didn't plan appropriately. So that was a huge thing.
Okay.
For me.
So you had a rich mindset. Rich mindset, they believe that money is to buy things. Once the money is available, they're going to buy things with that money, right?
Yeah.
So, poor mindset or poverty mindset, they believe that money is to pay the bills. So once money comes in, they're going to pay the bills. And if there is no more bills to pay, they're going to find somebody else with some bills to help them pay it.
Exactly.
But your mindset was a rich mindset. You have to buy things. So now what mindset do you have? A wealthy mindset?
I'm working on a wealthy mindset. I would say I still partly have a rich mindset.
Yeah.
I think the difference that I've been making and that I'm currently working on is when I do spend that money, spending it on the right things, like investing in my education and just building credit, building things like that, just actually purchasing the right things instead of splurging on what I feel I deserve.
That's good. That's good. Actually, that's a wealthy mindset because you believe that your money has to make more money.
Yeah.
So you invest. That's good. That's good. All right. Now, let's leave the money part away. People have money. So, talk to me about your business. You said what you did, but I didn't really understand.
Yeah.
So let's go back. How do you help people?
I help people by teaching them how to prioritize their health and fitness so it doesn't sacrifice your lifestyle. So as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, even as a high-level corporate professional, you have a busy life. You have a lot of things going on already. Yeah. So the last thing that I want to do is make you work out and have it be something that stretches you out even more. So within my business, I teach people how to actually balance health and fitness. So it's not a sacrifice, but it actually aids into your productivity. It aids into your confidence. It aids into your income. It helps you with all of these things rather than feeling like, oh, I got to go work out today, or I got to do this. Like, no, we learn how to actually prioritize it and do it the right way that works for that specific person.
How do you do it? Because they still have to work out, right?
They do.
All right, so tell me how you do that.
So it looks different for everybody. Some people, we can figure out a time that we can work out in the morning. A lot of people give me the excuse of I don't have time, but you're just not managing your time appropriately. So we figure out how to time block. We go through your day. We figure out what does your day-to-day look like. Now, working out does not have to mean that you're spending 2 hours in the gym. It does not mean that you're spending an excessive amount of time, even an excessive amount of days in the gym or working out. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week. That's really all you need. Okay. So we figure out where we can fit these 20, 30 minutes in. And even if we have to break it up over time, that's perfectly fine. So entrepreneurs work at their desk a lot. I have a lot of clients that have work from home jobs or their business is fully run online, things like that. So you're glued to your computer. There are increments of time that we can take throughout your day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes at a time, to go for a walk or start stretching or do some mobility or do a quick circuit workout, things like that. So it depends on the person. So we figure out where we can fit that time in and what works best for them.
So do you create the layout for them?
Yes.
Okay.
For my clients. So I do in person and online. So my online clients, we figure out where that takes place. And then also working out at home doesn't necessarily work for everybody. Working out at a gym doesn't necessarily work for everybody. So we figure out what type of training works best for you. So it's a process. We go through everything. We figure out what works best for you, what you'll see the most results in, because the best type of training for you is going to be what you can be consistent with. There's not necessarily, I personally favor a strength training program. But if somebody just despises weightlifting or despises strength training, then we figure out what works for them. Okay.
So how did you call that? A strength?
Say it again.
You say you like more
strength training.
Strength. Yep. Okay. So lifting weight.
Yep. All right. So strength and conditioning is like the barbells, dumbbells. We do a lot of mobility work, so different things like that. But it's typically gym based. It can be done at home with dumbbells or with bands or anything like that. But my personal favorite is when I'm in person training, doing strength and conditioning training.
So if someone has a book, they can see the training for themselves. Why would they need you? So form can be a really huge thing with people. And even my online people, we have videos. We do biweekly check-ins so we can make sure that everything's on track, making sure that you're doing it right. And then also, yes, there are a lot of resources that you can find. And I always recommend that people go to those resources and figure out if you can put something together. But
a lot of times there's a lot more complexity to it. So in scientific terms, or I guess meathead terms, it's periodization, there's progressive overload, there's different things to it, but start somewhere. So start somewhere, get into a routine yourself, and then once you feel like you're starting to stall in your progress, or you feel like you're not really seeing the results that you want to see, then you can go talk to a professional and figure out how you can actually implement the more complex versions of it.
Does it have to do also with losing weight?
Yeah, strength training is one of the best forms of exercise for weight loss.
Okay.
For fat loss.
Yeah, fat loss. I know the terms.
No, you're fine. So I specify fat loss because you can do excessive cardio and lose weight, but you're actually losing muscle rather than fat. So when you're doing strength training, you're building muscle. Muscle burns fat. So you're not strength training to get bulky. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to get bulky. I'm going to look like a bodybuilder. Bodybuilders train 6 days a week. They only eat chicken and rice. They are super strict on everything. We're not doing that. We're going to build some muscle so that way that muscle start to burn the fat, and then you start to get that toned and defined and more lean look rather than just losing all types of muscle and fat. And now you're not really seeing the definition that you want to see.
Okay, so you don't do bodybuilder?
No.
You don't train people to do that either?
No, that's not my expertise.
Okay, so what's the difference between what you do and lifting weight to get bulky?
Yeah, so bodybuilding is more so specific muscle groups. So when you're bodybuilding, you're training for physique. You're training to actually have the defined muscles to actually compete on stage and have be a competitive person with the definition of each individual muscle group. When you're strength training, it's more of an overall health aspect. So there are power lifters, but that's a little bit different. But for strength training, you are training cardiovascular, your heart health, you're building muscle, you're doing these things, but it's more so for lifestyle purposes and applicable purposes. So you squat up and down. Getting out of this chair, you're going to have to squat. You're going to have to get up. When you sit down, you're going to have to squat. So it's more so just getting you better at the functional things that you do day to day. When you have to pick something up, instead of, some people can injure themselves literally just by bending over or by bending over to pick something up the wrong way. But when you're strength training, you're actually teaching your body to do these things. So when you're doing everyday things, you just feel a lot better.
What age group do you work with?
Typically, my clients are anywhere between about 35 and 55-ish. Okay. Around that range. I do have some outliers, but that's the typical range.
Okay. So walk me through a new client that comes to you and, you know, typical difficulties they have. How do you work with them, and how long would it take them to see some improvement?
Yeah, so that time frame is going to be different for everybody. Okay. But how the process goes when I have a new client, there's an application process that you go through just to make sure that this is something, number one, that you're serious about. Because I can't help you if this is just something that you're kind of testing out and trying out, right? So we have an application process. We go through that. We do a consultation. So within this consultation, I figure out, what does your current lifestyle look like? What does your day-to-day look like? What have you done in the past that maybe didn't work? Or what did you do in the past that maybe did work? Okay. What is keeping you from being able to do this on your own at the moment? So we kind of go through all of those things. From there, I can put together a plan. Now, it's slightly different if the client is in person or online, but I'll just cater to online for this conversation. When they're online, we again go through that time block period and figure out when we can fit in that workout. From there, they get added to my app. So once you're added into my app, you fill out, before that, once you get added into my app, you have the program that I customize for you. So from our conversation, I put together a program where there was 2 days, 4 days, whether it was at home, whether it was in the gym. I customize that for you. That is in the app. And it is your responsibility as a client to check that off every single day. Okay. You check off that you did your workouts. We go through habit tracking. So each client is going to be a little bit different as far as the different habits that they have to kind of work on, whether it's just hydration. You're not even drinking enough water throughout the day. Whether it's nutrition, you're not eating enough throughout the day, different things like that. The most common problem that I see, or opportunity area that I see with new clients, is their mobility. They don't know how to move. Their hips are very limited when they do certain things. When they sit down for too long, they have hip pain, they have back pain, they have things like that. So we do a lot of joint strengthening exercises too. So that process, depending on the client, can take anywhere from 90 to 180 days, 3 to 6 months or so.
Have you ever had to fire a client?
Yes, actually. I have, and I'll do it again.
Yeah. What happened? Tell me what happened about that. Like, why did you need to do that?
So, as I said, I cannot work with you unless you work with me. You know, this has to be a give and take. This isn't something where you hire me as your trainer or your coach and you kind of show up to the check-ins whenever you feel like it. You kind of fill out the forms when you feel like it. You're logging off the workouts every other week. You're not really doing what you're supposed to do. We have conversations about it because typically it's a mental block. It's not necessarily something that I feel they're doing intentionally. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity area for the mental space that they're in to be able to commit to something like this. So we have conversations, but if we have those conversations constantly and after a certain amount of time, I feel like you're just not putting in the effort, then I don't want you to waste your money paying me and you're not doing anything.
Wow, you don't want them to waste their money paying you.
No.
And they're not doing the work.
It's not fair to either one of us because you're not going to be able to see the results that you want to see. And yes, you're paying me, but that's not benefiting me. That's a bad look on my program. If you're in my program, considered to be in my program and not seeing results. So there's no point.
What I'm thinking about is if someone got to the point where they have some type of physical problem, maybe it's not because of exercising, it may be some mental problem. So do you also work as a coach for you to coach them, or do you only teach them how to exercise?
So I do work as a coach. There are fine lines between the amount of mental help that I can give you to the point where you need to talk to a professional. There have been clients where we've been able to kind of tackle through some of the mental blocks that they have, but there are other clients where it's to the point where you need to speak to a professional, and I am not a medical, I'm not a therapist. I can give you advice from my perspective, but I'm not a professional. You need to seek professional help. So we do have conversations like that. There are clients that I would say like a couple of the mental blocks is the form is a big one. They don't feel confident in their form when doing certain exercises.
What is the form?
Form when you're doing a specific exercise. So doing a squat correctly or doing a deadlift correctly. They may see the videos, and even though they see the videos and they hear how you're supposed to do it and the different cues that I give to be able to do it correctly, they're intimidated. So that is a mental block that we get over, that we work through. And by doing that, we just kind of break it down into smaller pieces rather than immediately telling you to go to a gym and pick up some dumbbells. We're going to start at home. We're going to do some squats on a couch, things like that. So we're going to start smaller. But that's an example of a mental block that I see some clients starting out having.
So your clients, what causes them to come to you in the first place?
Different reasons. I hear a lot of, I need to get in shape, I need to do this, I need to do that. I hear a lot of that, and that's not necessarily the deciding factor when they come to me. I think it is when they start to reach a breaking point mentally, or some of them are they meet with their doctor and they find out that they have to start taking medication. So in order to avoid taking that medication, they come and see me. Or they just are looking in their closet and they
have no clothes to wear.
Right. They can't fit any of the clothes in their closet anymore because it's gotten to a point where it's out of control, honestly, and they can't fit anything in their closet. So now they're at their breaking point and they want to seek help. Other people, I have a client now who he always tells the joke, if he dropped his credit card on the floor, it's just going to have to stay there because he can't move. His mobility in his hips wasn't mobile enough for him to even bend over to pick something up. So he couldn't tie your shoes. So when you get to points like that, it's you have to seek help because something that you're doing isn't right.
Okay. So if you cannot tie your shoe, your credit card falls on the floor, you can't pick it up, you got to see Coach Breezy, right?
Come see me.
Got to see Coach Breezy.
We can't leave money on the floor. We got to go pick it up.
That's good, man. This is powerful. And the confidence you have as you talk about it, the passion you have talking about this makes me believe that this is something you do not just for the money, but it seems like it's a calling. Why did you decide to do this type of work?
I love what I do, honestly. I've been training for over 8 years. I started my sophomore year in college as a personal trainer at the YMCA. So at the YMCA, I did one-on-one training with clients. I did small group, like boot camp training with clients. I taught group fitness classes. So that's where I kind of got into it. From there, I went to different family-owned gyms, corporate-style gyms, and I ended up doing strength and conditioning internships at Georgia Southern and Mississippi State. So Georgia Southern is where I ran track at. So I was with them, and then I went to Mississippi State. But I say that to say fitness has been a part of my life entirely. Throughout elementary school, middle school, high school, like sports has always been my passion. And when I was at the YMCA, that was my first introduction into health and fitness it's considered general population. When you're not sports training or things like that, it's considered general population. And to see the transformation in people at that time was game changing for me. Seeing a mother who works so hard. She was one of the brightest spirits ever. Like, she just walks into a room and lights it up. But she's going through a lot. Internally, she's going through a lot, but a lot of these powerful women are so good at hiding it, and you would never know. But she started coming in consistently. She was coming to 2-3 classes a week, and you started to see the weight fall off of her. You started to see the confidence grow in her, and just seeing that changed everything for me.
Okay. So you have never had a moment in your life where you wanted to change your physical or your look?
So for me, I've always been the skinny girl. I've always been, and it was not, outside looking in, people look at it like, oh, you're skinny, you're lucky, you got that. But when people are literally putting their fingers around your wrists, like, and around your ankles growing up, like, it was so, it messed with my head. But that was not something that I used to be like, it's still not really proud of. So like, weight gain has always been my thing, because I don't feel that I'm, for me, at a healthy or reasonable weight for me personally. So that was always something that I struggled with. And being on the opposite end, it can seem, what's the word I'm looking for? Disingenuous to be upset or have complaints about being skinny. Okay. So especially when you're a fitness coach, it can be like degrading to your clients or to other people that see that you struggle with feeling just too small. Okay. So that's always been my kind of thing. And there's a lot of people that struggle with that, and weight gain is the actual goal. So I do help on that aspect too. I just find that there are a lot more people currently that need my help with the fat loss side of things.
Okay. Ooh, that's good. That's good. So I've seen you on Social Proof podcast.
Yes, I was on Social Proof.
How did you get there?
How did I get there? So Zell is the videographer. He works with the Social Proof. I basically grew up with Zell. Okay. I've known him for a while, and he works with them, so I kind of got in contact with David through there.
You got the plug.
But I went through the process. I talked to the people. Kay's the GOAT. Shout out to Kay. Talked to her, and then I was able to get on there with David.
That's good. That's powerful. So, if someone would like to work with you, if they want to get into your program, what do you have for them right now, or do you have anything coming up?
Yeah, so to get into my program, there is an application process that you can fill out. It is in my Instagram bio. My Instagram is Breezy Fitco, BreezyFitco. Outside of that, I am having an event in February 23rd.
Okay.
Yes. So I have an event a quarter. So the idea of these events is to bring the community together, and really help people recharge. So I call them recharge events. So when you're training and you're doing things, and even if you're not, you can kind of lose yourself in everything that's going on. So the idea behind these events is to bring people together and to really learn how to prioritize yourself in different ways. This specific one is called Recover and Revive.
Recover and Revive.
Recover and Revive.
Okay.
We have sponsors from Hyper Ice, Sweat House, Alani, and Vitamin Shop. So we have these different sponsors, and the idea of the event, or the purpose of the event, is to teach you how to actually prioritize your health and wellness, whether you're currently active or trying to get active, or looking for information on how to get active, and or want a community or support system in that process, because it can feel lonely. So we'll be doing yoga, we'll be doing meditation, we'll be doing extra stretches. I'll teach people how to actually stretch on your own, how to use the high price equipment if that's something that you're interested in. Vitamin Shop is going to have a hydration station teaching you different tips and how to stay healthy throughout the day without having to sacrifice anything else.
That's a 1 day or 2 day?
It's a 1 day.
1 day. Okay.
February 23rd from 11 to 2.
Where is it going to be?
It's going to be at Brick House Strength and Conditioning in Buckhead.
Okay.
The VIP portion is an actual strength training workout led by me before the actual event. So if you're interested in the VIP portion, that is from 9:30 to 10:30. And then the event itself is from 11 to 2.
Okay. That's good. So where can they register for this?
They can register, again, in my bio. The link is in my bio through an Eventbrite link, Breezy Fitco.
Excellent. Man, so if, like, as you look at me, what do I need to work on?
I see. How do you feel? Like, you got any tight hips? You got any issues going on? You feel?
Not really. I kind of feel good with myself.
Okay.
But sometimes I feel like I need some more muscle or whatever.
Okay.
So,
are you currently doing anything?
Yeah, I go to the gym every now and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how David talked. That's how David talks. He does it every now and then. He goes in there, picks up a weight, and walks out.
Yeah.
So is that what your routine looks like?
Yeah, I don't go really every day, and I don't really have a specific day to go.
Okay.
I may get up in the morning and say, okay, I have some time. Let me just go to the gym. I may spend a week. I can't go. So I don't know if it's not a priority, or what do you think is going on?
I think that, kind of like you said, if there's time, then you go. And I think that can be the biggest issue, because a lot of us, we're not prioritizing it, and we need to actually make time and schedule the time in there. So if it requires getting up an extra 30 minutes, you make sure that on these days, that's when you're going, even if it's only 2 days that you commit to. But finding that level of commitment to actually go and do something, that helps a lot. And then having some structure. So a lot of us, when we go, even I do it sometimes. If I'm not following a program, I'll go and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing in here today. And then we end up wasting time. And that's where we spend an hour plus in the gym that's not even necessary. But when we have that level of structure and that level of clarity around what we're doing, then that makes our results come a lot faster.
Okay, so do you create the nutrition, how do you call it?
The meal plan?
Yes, the meal plan.
So I give nutrition guidance. I can give a meal plan, but I typically found with my clients that they want more leniency with what they eat, especially when you're on the go. So I give guidance around the type of groceries that you get, that you should get. If you are eating out, I have some recommendations for eating out correctly, things like that. If somebody wants a meal plan, I'll give it to them, but typically the nutrition guidance works a lot better.
How do you do it for yourself to stay in shape? Like to do the work you do, and then for people to see you as a leader. So how do you stay focused to do that?
I think it has a lot to do with following the same thing that I give my clients. I make sure that, and again, I even have my own like, I'm going to be fully transparent and let people know that I suffer with this too. Suffer probably isn't the right word, but I have my struggles where I'm not consistent for a period of time, but Number one, having an accountability system. So having a support system. My boyfriend actually gets on to me a lot. He's like, did you go work out today? Did you do this?
Okay.
Like you said you were going to do it at this time. Did you go at this time? The same thing that I do for my clients, I have to have somebody do that for me too. So, and then also having the structure. So following a program for myself, the same way I give my clients a program, critiquing it, going along with it, instead of just saying, oh, this didn't work, or oh, I'm too sore, I didn't feel like doing it this time. Like, this is the program that I'm following. So making sure that I stick to it, I check it off just like they do.
That's good. Okay. Yeah, I thought you were gonna say that you got this. Like, you don't have no struggles.
No, right? I can't even. And even the biggest, like financially, even a lot of the top earners have the same issues, or at least they've been there and they kind of backtrack. It's a learning curve. It's all a process. So when you are an expert in your field, there are still opportunities to learn and opportunities to be better.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. All right. So if you have to give some, I would say, advice or suggestions to someone who's struggling right now physically, maybe they cannot bend, what would it be?
I would say just start with what you can do.
Okay.
A lot of us try to compare our day 1 to somebody else's day 100. And that's where we fail, because we think that we should be doing this just because we see somebody else doing it. We think that because we can't do that we're failing, or, you know, we're worse off. And that's not necessarily the case. Start where you can and continue to build off of that.
This video is brought to you by It's Possible Insurance and Financial Services. We have our office here in Fayetteville, Georgia, 353 Glen Street North. Now, if you'd like to prepare your retirement, to save your money or protect your assets using IUL and annuities, please click on the link below and schedule a call with me. I will be glad to talk to you. Thank you very much for watching the video. Let's go back to the interview. Strength training is when you lift weight.
Right.
Bodybuilding is when you define your muscles, you want to compete or whatever.
Yeah. So the difference between that is the style of training, and not to go too deep into it, it's more so when you're bodybuilding, you want to focus on specific muscle groups. So you may focus on bicep curls, like you may focus on a specific targeted muscle. When you are strength training for adaptability purposes, for lifestyle purposes, you want to use more muscle groups at a time. So instead of doing just a bicep curl, I'm going to do a bench press because I'm using more muscles, things like that. You'll still do that with bodybuilding, but the key difference is how much you're actually isolating it. But honestly, either one works as long as you're doing something.
Okay. So what I was gonna ask is, what is the danger of someone going to the gym and not knowing what they're doing?
There is a high level of, or a high risk of injury if you are doing things that you, number one, don't understand the form for, and or are going way too heavy with. So that's why if you are starting out, my biggest recommendation is to just start at home with body weight stuff. That's going to help you build the confidence to do the actual form correctly. Know what your muscle you should be feeling when you're doing it. If you are doing this on your own, you need to look up what muscle you should be feeling while you're doing this, all of those things, so that way you actually are able to build the proper way. There are some people that have back pain when they squat, and they continue to squat that way instead of trying to figure out or trying to adjust. That's why having a coach is so much better, because they can look at a squat. A good professional can look at you squat and see what's wrong. But if you're doing it on your own constantly and you're continue to do that the wrong way, then you're hurting yourself. You can pull something, you can tear something, you can rupture something, you can do any of those things.
That's good. So do you want to say how much you charge for your program?
I can. My month-to-month contract is $1,000 a month.
Okay.
And that includes coaching. You get bi-weekly check-in calls. You get your custom programming. You get your nutrition guidance. We fill out weekly recaps every single week. So if there's any adjustments that I need to make, we can make that. We progress every 30 days. And my program is a 90-day commitment minimum. Okay. Because I need to be able to work with you and go through this process before you just go in for the first month and you say that you're not seeing results or anything like that, and then you just quit on me. It takes at least 3 to 6 months to actually start seeing the results that you want to see.
Excellent. All right, so get with Coach Bree, because we can't accept to stay the way we are.
No.
Got to get better.
No.
That's good. All right, any last word you want to share with the people, Coach, about their health or money?
Yeah, I think when it comes to this journey, don't overthink it. There's a lot of people that are sitting here. You may be watching this. You may be looking at clips on social media, and you think that this process has to be hard. You have to have so much discipline to get started. You have to be in the right headspace, and you don't. You need to just be where you are. Just start somewhere and be happy with the ability to even start somewhere. Just go with that. And then you will be able to build up the mindset that you need. You'll be able to build up the confidence. Everything else will come from there, but just start where you are.
That's powerful. All right, Coach. Well, thank you very much. I think I learned a lot today.
Good.
It's been 45 minutes here with
Has
you,
it?
man. That's
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, so thank you so much for coming on the show today, Coach Bree. Hopefully you come back because people are going to have questions.
Okay. I'm here for it. I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you again. Any last word you want to share something else with the people?
No, come to my event, Recover and Revive.
Oh, yes.
February 23rd.
Revive. So it's going to be?
February 23rd in Buckhead at Brick House, Strength and Conditioning.
Okay. So
we'll
what
put
else?
The link in the description.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. We're going to have a link, right?
Yes.
You send me a link?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay. So we're going to have a link in the description of the video so that you can go to the event, or we can go to the event. How much is it to go to the event?
So general admission is $47. VIP is $97.
$47?
$47.
$47.
That's it.
Man, come on now. Let's go.
There are only 10 spots available for the VIP portion, though. So if you do want a VIP ticket, there are only a couple left. So just make sure you go ahead and grab that.
VIP is how much again?
$97.
$97.
Yep. And that's an exclusive workout with me, small group. No more than 10 people in that group.
Anyone can be VIP.
Anyone can be VIP.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere.
Let's go.
Might as well start at my Recover and Revive event.
That's good. All right, Coach Bree, thank you very much for coming to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, I'll see you next time.
Yes, see you next time.
Excellent.